Good morning, everyone. Welcome to No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. My name is Ryan McCarthy. I'm one of the show hosts. To my right is a man who may or may not be staying up for Game 7 tonight, but that's okay because tonight is daylight savings time because he gets that extra hour of sleep if it goes 18 innings. Dustin Henry. Dustin, how you doing today?
Doing all right. Daylight savings time. I do not like, at least I am not doing extra life this weekend. Usually
Oh,
that's when it happens.
mm-hmm.
But the shorter days, I'm hunkering down. I can already feel like the hibernation feelings. This podcast is going to get me through, though. This podcast, and as it is, I don't know what it is, but I'm starting to feel maybe a little under the weather the week before extra life. So I got to get things
No.
under control here. But hopefully it'll just pass, everything. I could be the weather change, could be a lot of things. But had a fun Halloween last night, and I hope you did as well, sir. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We got a handful of trick or treaters last night. We were handing out. I was handing out M&M's variety packs. So I got the OG chocolates. I got the peanut and the peanut butter.
Oh yeah.
Peanut butter always hits hard, man.
Yeah, the peanut butter is the
Butter.
superior M&M in my opinion. I
Yeah.
got that same variety pack to bring over to my sister's house because sadly I have children in this neighborhood, but I haven't handed out candy in years because the numbers steadily declined, and then the last year that I got candy, I got all these bags, and I had 5 kids. So I'm like, well, I went over to my sister's because usually she gets a lot, but even this year, I think the weather kept some people away, but there was still shout out to the person who dressed up as a Pop-Tart. That was a good one.
Yeah. Pop. I wonder if they're going to the Pop Tarts Bowl.
Oh man, they should.
But I was watching. So my night was watching old like the standards in terms of Halloween specials, both modern and classic. So I watched Charlie Brown, thanks Halloween. Watched a
Mhm.
couple episodes of Community Halloween and Bob's Burgers Halloween episodes. So those are my favorite. Those are my favorite ones. I didn't get a chance to watch Garfield Halloween though. It's always a standard.
Oh yeah,
40
Garfield Halloween is
It
great.
debuted 40 years ago. This is just on last month. I'm like, that's
Oh man.
such a good Halloween special. And today's November 1st. So stuff Mariah Carey back in that box. We don't need her until Black Friday.
Yeah. Yeah. Black Friday, I'm with you. That's when people can start, gearing up.
Yeah. Yeah. Not right now. It's too soon. It's too soon. It's too soon. But you do you, boo boo. But just at least the music, wait until it snows,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get into everything in this episode. We're going to talk about Thursday night's football game, which led to dismissal, at least in the GM circles. We're talking about week 9 in the NFL, what we're watching, what we're definitely not watching. Our picks for the Cut the Breaks Become Challenge, and Dustin will make one last appeal for Extra Life. Actually, one of his last appeals for Extra Life because
Yes.
next week he won't be here. I'll have a special guest joining me for next week. But just want to remind you in the meantime to follow us. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also check out other podcasts and written articles at bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, hit that subscribe button wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and our host, which is Podbean. And also hit that notification bell on Twitter and on YouTube so you know when when we are live with live shows, when we have clips go up, when we have shorts go up, and we have general announcements go up. FYI, today we're on the Belly Up Sports Twitter channel. So everybody who's watching on Belly Up Sports, hi, welcome.
Hello there.
Follow us everywhere else, though. We would appreciate you following us on Twitter and Facebook and YouTube. I released a short on Thursday about Albert Pujols' 9.5-hour interview with the San Diego Padres
I
for
hope
their
he gets the
opener.
job after
Me
that.
too. I hope he gets the job, period, because Albert
Yeah.
Pujols is a legend. He's a legend. But on the podcast side, rate, review, comment, all that stuff, 5-star rating. Leave a review wherever you can, including Apple Podcasts, Podchaser, Good Pods. I think you can leave a review on Podbean if I'm not mistaken, but don't. No, I'll do the research and double check. And also, if you're watching on the replay on Belly Up Sports, their YouTube channel, leave a comment. Also, leave a comment on Spotify. And we got the live show, which is on Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. Eastern, Tuesdays at 6:30 p.m. on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and a little bit later on the next day on Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. But we got some comments rolling in already. And I know, Dustin, we're both feeling a little bit. I know you're feeling a little under the weather, and I'm feeling a little bit tired because the fall's starting to come in and daylight stealing. I said daylight saving time. But I know this tune always picks us both up.
Oh yeah, I hear it in the distance. It's chime time.
Certainly is. We got one comment already coming in from James saying, "Morning, gents. Pretzel M&Ms are in fact the best." No, you are wrong. Peanut butter. Although I will say the caramel cold brew is actually pretty decent.
Oh, I have to try those. I'll have to try those. I mean,
maybe I'll bring a bag next week to ExtraLife just to try. Like a small bag just to try them.
Yeah, just a little sample. Just a little sample. I will say most.
We'll do a live hot food takes.
Yeah, we could. We could.
Bring over a bunch of different M&Ms and try them out and rank them. Impromptu, a very special live taste test
on a very special edition of Hot Food Takes.
NCR tries it. All right, we're gonna start off today's episode with Thursday night football, or is it starting to become Thursday night football? Because matches are awful. And I said on just kind of jokingly on Tuesday, I said, we're going to review Thursday's game. Who's it going to be? Well, it's not going to matter. This game's going to suck anyway. I was right.
Yeah.
I was right in that regard because the Baltimore as soon as we looked at who it was, we said, oh, this game's going to be garbage. And it certainly was, because the Baltimore Ravens, trying to keep on pace in the AFC North, they got a big win over the Miami Dolphins, who are spiraling 28-6. And that led to the dismissal of Chris Grier, now former GM, general manager of these Miami Dolphins. And I did a YouTube short yesterday on the main channel, on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. You can check that out. But it's curious that they kept Mike McDaniel for the rest of the season. And you have to wonder what his future is going to be, but let's not focus on that now. Let's talk about this matchup, Dustin. And I only watched the first half of this game, but I want to get your thoughts on it before I really dive into this general manager situation.
Well, as has been the pattern the last couple Thursdays, I didn't get a chance to watch the full game, but I did catch up this morning via highlights. I do show prep everybody, even though sometimes it doesn't seem like it. But man, for me, this game can be summed up relatively easily. Lamar Jackson at points looked like Lamar during this game. He was efficient. He threw for 4 touchdowns. I had read somewhere that somebody said he's got 18 touchdowns and 1 pick against the Miami Dolphins. So he likes playing the Dolphins. But
do some real-time research on that.
But he got the ball to Mark Andrews in the red zone a couple times. Mark Andrews had 2 touchdowns. But to me, this game can be summed up in one fact, because yardage-wise, these two teams were close. All right, and the Dolphins actually had more passing yards than the Ravens. But here's what they couldn't do. The Dolphins could not cash in when they had opportunities in the red zone. All they could muster were a couple of field goals. They would have had one more too, but Patterson missed one right at the end of the first quarter that would have brought them within 1 point. The game would have been 7-6 at that point. It could have changed things, but the Ravens could move the ball up and down the field, and they could score when they needed to, and the Dolphins could not do that. And the Ravens badly outrushed the Dolphins. The Ravens had 150 total rush yards, And then the Dolphins, Devon Achane did run through some big holes at certain points, but the Dolphins only managed 86 yards on the ground. So that's where it was kind of different because, like I said, the Dolphins actually outpassed the Ravens, but Lamar was efficient in this game with the passing. He didn't need to throw for 300 yards because they were scoring at will down in the red zone. It was no problem for them. So that's pretty much this game. I mean, you can see it illustrated in the third quarter too, because this game, the Dolphins actually kept it kind of close at the half. You're thinking, okay, are they going to do something? It's like 14-6. They could come out, but in the third quarter, they just couldn't do anything. And the Ravens scored 14 unanswered points. You can't win games like that.
No,
So I really don't have much to say. I mean, Zay Flowers seems to be finally emerging as the Ravens like wideout, the number one wideout we hoped he would be. Hopefully he'll start scoring touchdowns. The Ravens have a lot of ground to make up if they want to make a playoff run. But in the NFC North, they could do it because the division, the Steelers are in first at what, 4-3, I think is their record.
I believe so.
Oh, I mean, the Ravens got a shot, especially if Lamar starts playing like they can.
Yeah, 4-3.
Continue to use Derrick Henry. So the Dolphins, I'm sorry. There's not much else left to say. You have Achane, you have Waddle. Although will both of those gentlemen be gone after the trade deadline? Who knows? They said that the GM is interim. They're going to bring in a GM after the season, so that person is going to want to start building that roster. So who knows what the future holds for the Dolphins?
Yeah, and I had to ask though. Are you wondering if Zay Flowers can score some touchdowns because he's on a fantasy team of yours or two?
Yes.
I knew it. Yeah, I like you. I watched only the first half because I just had to go to bed. I was tired. I was so tired, boy. I was up at 4:30. I was up at 4:30 getting my. That's how I get my workouts in. It's working out before work is better than working out after work. Changed my mind.
Okay.
But that's again free country. You can do what you want.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Dolphins were absolutely outclassed in this game. I will say though, I just saw that one play, that one target that Rashad Bateman had in the first half. He was looking at the ref and saying, "Hey," and there's a little bit of hand fighting in that.
Yeah, there was.
I get it. I understand why he's upset, but at the same time, you have to let the ref make the call. And he went at the ref and got a penalty flag for unsportsmanlike conduct because he was yapping at the ref. And it's like, dude, my dude, you'll get your targets, you'll get your calls. Just ease up, all right? But yeah, this was vintage Lamar Jackson in this game. He didn't have to do much. He just had to be, like you said, Dustin. He had to be efficient, and he was a surgeon in this game. He didn't throw for a lot of yards, but he only had 5 incompletions. Yeah. And you could tell he was, at least in the first drive or two. In the first drive, he was struggling a little bit because it's his first action since week 3, and you're going to struggle after an injury. You got to try to get your legs build up your legs, build up your strength, get the game strength going. And after that first turnover by Miami inside the 10-yard, then the Ravens got inside the 10-yard line. You can tell that this was okay. All right, but this is vintage Lamar. 4th down, throw it to Andrews. He's your Mr. Reliable. And I was using the tight ends one more time. Use Likely, use Kolar, use Andrews, used his running backs when he needed to. Got in Derrick Henry, got in Justice Hill, using Zay Flowers as your primary receiver. Didn't have, as long as it was 39, the longest pass play for the Ravens was 39 yards. But again, you don't have to be, this offense didn't have to be explosive tonight. They just had to be efficient. And they were. And I did look up that stat. I did do some real-time research while you were talking about Lamar Jackson's all-time record against the Dolphins. He's only 3-2. They've only played 5 times. All right. Okay. They've only played 5 times. He's 3-2, but he has 1,405 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's got a damn near perfect passer rating. And his first game against the Dolphins, he threw for 325 yards, 5 touchdowns, had a perfect passer rating, and a 59-10 win.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So the 3 wins in which the Ravens have played the Dolphins with Lamar Jackson as the quarterback, they've blown them out each time. Because here's another one. Week 17, 2023, Jackson threw for 321 yards, 5 touchdowns, perfect passer rating, 56-19 win. And this game, he was only a pedestrian, 18 of 23 for 188 yards, but had 4 passing touchdowns. And a passer rating of 143.2. So very pedestrian effort by Lamar Jackson. I will say, though, I was happy to have him back in my fantasy football league because I had no quarterbacks last week. That's on me.
Oh, man. I remember you were trying to
week.
sneak one in under the wire there.
I was trying to fix my IR. I can't apparently I can't do it over mobile, so I did, but I fixed it. All my issues with IR are fixed. I sadly put Mike Evans on the IR. But let's talk about this. Let's talk about the firing of Chris Grier before we go to our commercial break. And I made a short about this yesterday on the Belly Up Sports YouTube channel. You can check it out. And I just had a snap reaction about Chris Grier being sorry. The new term is mutually parting of ways. It's the uncoupling of
the conscious uncoupling. I hate it. I hate it. Every time I hate it.
It's the uncoupling of firings. That's what it basically is. Thanks a lot, Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, and Chris Martin too.
Chris Martin, you douche. But let's talk about this in greater detail. I just have some more detailed thoughts about this. And Dolphins fan, you have to be happy because at least one half of your national nightmare is over. Chris Grier, you got the announcement yet on Friday morning that he was dismissed. Stephen Ross put out a statement that saying that there was an uncoupling, which I think this will have to be the podcast episode name, uncoupling.
Yeah.
As GM of the Miami Dolphins. And I have to think the first and I think the biggest mistake that Chris Grier made that started this downfall was firing Brian Flores. Because he doubled down on because he decided to stick with his quarterback. He drafted Tua Tagovailoa. He wanted him to be the quarterback of the future. He thought he could be the quarterback of the future for this Dolphins team. And when we find out that Brian Flores and Tua are having a philosophical disagreement, let's just put it that way. Another fun euphemism there. You just said they're just yelling at each other. Okay. Philosophical disagreement about what to do with the offense. So fires Brian Flores, brings in Mike McDaniel, and we saw at least initially what the fruits of this hiring were going to be. They put a 70 burger on the Denver Broncos.
Yeah.
70 burger. But who is that seemed like light years ago. Okay. Light years going on. I mean, they almost won the AFC East that season, 2023. They went to Kansas City in that sub-zero playoff game except for the one play by Tyreek Hill, they were largely absent in this game. Last year went on a 0-6 last year. And they wanted Mike McDaniel fired then. The offense was starting to sputter and they weren't looking like they were the year before. And they just finished outside of a playoff spot. And then this year the wheels have started to fully come off the wagon for the Miami Dolphins. Yes, that Tyreek Hill injury doesn't help, but you can start to see the signs of what this offense is looking like if Tua doesn't have a whole lot of time to throw. And we saw it in this game. And again, Grier not only went all in, but he doubled down and extended Tua to
Yeah.
that huge extension, because that's what all the other GMs were doing in the league when they had with their young quarterbacks. Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence. I think Trevor Lawrence got a big extension too, if I'm not mistaken. Jalen Hurts, all these young quarterbacks getting the extension because they figured, all right, the GMs figure I can hitch my wagon to this particular. I can put my hitch on this particular wagon. They're going to ride me over to a Super Bowl. I'm going to keep my job forever.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way anymore.
Yeah, and I feel like the Mahomes extension kind of started that. The Kansas City extended Mahomes, and then there was this tenure across the league that it basically felt like, hey, if you think you have a quarterback worth anything and he's young, we got to extend him. Yep. Because if you don't have a quarterback, you have nothing. But where I think Grier misstepped is I can't remember, Ryan. The extension was just before all the concussion things started, right?
I think it was after. It was after.
Well, then that makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Because no disrespect to Tua, but the concussion issues, there are a large contingent of people out there that thought he should have retired because he got his money, he got his extension, and he's putting his career, let alone his life, in jeopardy, his quality of life. He wants to stay in there, but Chris Grier, to extend him that long term after all these concussion issues, you have to kind of question it.
Yeah, and he put his chips on 4 guys in particular. He put it on Tua. I did look up the contract. He signed it in July of last year, so it was before training camp last year. So it was well after.
Yeah, well after. Wow.
After those concussion issues he had in 2022. So put his hitch on Tua, put his hitch on Jalen Waddle, who he rewarded with a big contract, Tyreek Hill, the sign and trade with that big contract there, and Bradley Chubb. And you when you put your reputation on 4 contracts, thinking those 4 guys are going to pave your way to a Super Bowl and not address other issues like secondary depth, like offensive line depth, your team is going to be not going to be good. And we saw it in this game. The O-line got exposed in this game. They only had 86 or 87 rushing yards. The Dolphins did.
Yep.
The Dolphins had 3 turnovers in this game. Tua threw an interception, and their secondary got carved up. Again, only to the tune of 204 yards, but Lamar Jackson made them look horrible and only had 7 completions in that game. So, and 4 touchdowns. So 18 completions, you had 4 touchdowns. 4 of those completions were for touchdowns. So you have to wonder, if you're a Dolphins fan, what the future's going to look like, at least for GM. But Stephen Ross did say that Mike McDaniel would be retained for the rest of the season, which is very curious. And also, this timing is very weird too, because of the fact that the trade deadline is now roughly, I'd say 77 hours away as we record this on November 1st, 2025, November 1st, in the year of our Lord, 2025 at 10:32 a.m. Eastern. We're roughly 76 or 77 hours away from the trade deadline. And now you have an interim GM come to take over for the rest of the season. You have to wonder, and it's Champ Kelly, by the way, you have to wonder what Champ Kelly's going to do. I think the expectation for them is to sell. It's going to be sell. Like you mentioned, Waddle, HN, a lot of these different names with big contracts or with big potential that could swing a season for a team. They could be up for trading. So we'll see what happens on Tuesday. It's going to be, Miami. It's Miami Vice-ish without the drugs. But we're gonna get some comments real quick. James saying Mike Grier is a superior Grier anyway. Sure, I guess we could say so. I mean, San Jose is winning more games than San Jose. The Sharks have won more games than the Dolphins had this year. So I guess you could say that. And this is the biggest disappointment too, is that Miami had a great game against Atlanta on Sunday.
They did, yeah.
And they come in and get caught in the net, no pun intended, of their own supply. And anyway, bad tuna joke with Dolphins. And One Ring coming in was saying, "Good morning to you, sir," saying, "Our Jets are going on a 10-game winning streak." pause.
Okay. All right.
Let's get the bye week first, okay?
Yeah. You got to go. You're going up against the bye. The bye is always a tough opponent.
Yeah, and the bye is favored, by the way, if I understand. All right, we're gonna take our one and only commercial break for this episode. So we're gonna talk about one of our newest partners here at No Credentials Required, and that is Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, the outlaw of the snack world. Forget the gas station stuff. This jerky is all natural, low sugar, and absolutely packed with flavor. Every 2-ounce bag delivers 20 grams of protein, made with beef that has no added hormones, no antibiotics, and no shady business. But jerky's just the beginning. Righteous Felon's lineup also includes beef sticks for on-the-go snacking, tender turkey jerky that's light but still packs a punch and tastes like a Thanksgiving dinner, and authentic South African-style biltong that melts in your mouth. The flavors range from savory classics like OG Hickory and the Victorious BIG, which is the honey bourbon, to spicy kicks like Habanero Escobar and Carolina Reaper. So whether you want smooth, smoky, or fiery heat, they've got you covered. And don't forget, they even got Wild Ranger dog treats for your four-legged sidekick can join the snack game too. What about cat treats? Head over to righteousfelon.com. Use promo code NOCREDS at checkout to score 15% off every order. Plus, when you spend over $50, shipping is free. Righteous Felon Craft Jerky, where flavor is the crime, and you're guilty of enjoying every bite. I got some of the samples right here. The Maryland Monroe, which was with the Old Bay seasoning. The Bootleggin Barbecue, which is sweet, old smuggler thang with a sweet, spicy twang. Smoke flavor added. You got the Soul Survivor, which is one of my favorites. It's a spicy, savory one. It's a really good one. And you also got the Habanero Escobar, which is what habanero, a little bit of lots of heat. And don't forget their beef sticks. You got the fiery habanero right here.
Oh, yeah.
And you got the street taco inspired with the Al Pastor pineapple pork flavor. So, yeah, you want to get yourself some Righteous Felon. They're a great product to have. And on the go snacking. So, my afternoons are pretty busy sometimes. And a little bit of snack to fuel my afternoons. And 2-ounce bag, 20 grams of protein. Can't go wrong. And we've had some awesome testimonials from people who have ordered or have gotten the Wild Ranger dog treats. I know Dustin Pickles enjoys it. My friends, their dog Logan had to have surgery recently. He scarfed them, he inhaled them, and they ordered more that day. So the Wild Ranger dog treats. Pickles and Logan, they approve, and hopefully your dog will too. But yeah, righteousfelon.com. No creds at checkout, 15% off your order, and every order of $50 or more, you get free and fast shipping. All right, let's talk about Week 9, the NFL. One more comment here from Kevin Wilson of a myriad of Belly Up Sports podcasts saying, "Good morning. Peanut M&Ms are the best."
I do enjoy a good peanut M&M.
Yeah, but peanut
butter is it's just tough to unseat it. I mean, there's a lot of great M&Ms out there, but the red bag for me, please. The red bag.
Absolutely. And the sharing size is not going to be sharing size for you. I'm going to eat it all. All right, we're going to get into Week 9 in the NFL. Let's start off with the most intriguing matchup of this week. And I'm going to say the Broncos-Texans game. That might shape up to be hopefully the game of the year of the week for me. Because both teams have great defenses. We saw last week, Denver picked apart the Cowboys offense. The Texans did what they did against, all right, let's face it, a not as healthy 49ers team, but they still contained Christian McCaffrey. They still put a number on Mac Jones. It looks like Mac Jones is going to start this week against the Giants. We'll talk about them in just a moment. But they did a number on this 49ers team. Yes, that's weakened, but they still play well. So I'm kind of curious to see if CJ Stroud, we talked about his regression a month ago. It seems like a long time ago, but we talked about his regression a month ago. If we're watching it in real time, had a great game last week against the 49ers. Over 300 yards passing. I want to see if he can continue this against a much tougher, a much healthier defense. Although Patrick Surtain is out for the next 4 weeks with a pectoral injury, still it's next man up mentality in Broncos country. Let's ride, Broncos country. And I'm also curious to see if RJ Harvey. I put in the notes. I put PJ Harvey initially, but I remember one time too many for me. One time too many in terms of mistakes for me. RJ Harvey, if he could duplicate the game that he had last week, in which he was named Rookie of the Week in the NFL. So I think this game is going to come down to which defense makes the least mistakes. It's Brian Flores and his not Brian Flores. It's D'Amico Ryans and his magical mystical formula on defense going against Vance Joseph, who didn't have a great time. It didn't have a great tenure as head coach of the Broncos, but is reviving the Broncos crush. Or as I think they say, the Orange Crush, Orange Crush defense of the 70s. So and they lead the league in sacks. So that's my most intriguing matchup. Dustin, how about you? What's your most intriguing matchup?
Well, this one I have to quote one Kirk Van Houten. Can I borrow a feeling? And it's it's kind of because I just have a feeling about this game, Ryan. This game could go sideways, but I don't think it's going to. I am looking at the Steelers and the Colts. There's a lot to pick from this week. You're looking at the games and you're like, man, I could go in lots of directions. But I just have a feeling about this Steelers-Colts game. The Steelers' run defense has been terrible at points this season. I mean, the Seahawks ran all over them in week 2. That's the best that the Seahawks running attack has looked. Other than that, they can't get anything going. So that tells us something about where the Steelers are at stopping the run. So Jonathan Taylor should have a field day. But I think that you got two quarterbacks in this game that have performed better than anyone could have expected. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, say what you want about him, but he has performed well about the Steelers as the Steelers quarterback. He's looked a lot better at points this season. And I said, and you agreed with me when I asked you the question, I think Aaron Rodgers will play somewhere as a starter if he wants to next year. I think he's done well enough. Someone will offer him a contract. And I think there's already been rumblings that the Steelers want him to come back if he wants to. But DK Metcalf has been decent for the Steelers. Some of their acquisitions. I just have a feeling that this game is going to be a back and forth affair. I know by all rights the Colts should dominate, especially with the Steelers' terrible run defense and the fact that Daniel Jones, the wheels haven't come off yet. He hasn't turned back into a pumpkin, so I don't think it's going to happen. But I just have a feeling that Jaylen Warren, the Steelers, DK, Aaron Rodgers, they're gonna find a way to keep this closer than it should be, and I think it's going to be entertaining because this is a game that the Steelers need. We were wondering how the Steelers were winning, and you said they were contenders. They were pretenders wearing the skin suit of contenders. And
I'm not sure if we can say that anymore because it's not spooky season.
It is not. It's a day removed, but
Okay.
But I will say I just like Kirk. He's looking to borrow a feeling, but I just have one about this game. I think it's going to be competitive. I think it's going to be a fun one.
So will Aaron Rodgers put his hand in his glove of love?
Perhaps. I mean, hurting hearts get to heal, and maybe they stop Jonathan Taylor in this one.
Classic. The best worst song ever from the Kevin Wilson saying, "Good bet, Taylor 2+ touchdowns." I'll talk about him.
Sure.
I'll talk about him in a moment. But we got to talk about our self-hatred game of the week, aka the friends and family game, because only friends and family care about this game. Dustin, who's your pick this week?
All right. Well, I have to apologize to the city of Nashville. And I'm picking the Titans again this week, but let me tell you why. Okay,
Oh, bother.
I'm sorry. Ryan picked the only other game that I would have picked on the slate, and the other game that I would have picked already happened. Okay, so I know that there's not too many other options, and I just really think that the Chargers defense they really proved last week that okay, the Chargers, I think they're back on the track now. I think they're okay offensively. We know what they can do. But defensively, we thought that Jim Harbaugh's defense would be better, and they stumbled a little bit. They had a little bit of a stumble, but I think they're back on track now. The Chargers look like they're about to get it right. They're about to turn things around, and what better team to do it against than the Titans? I mean, sorry. There's just not much to look forward to for the Titans right now. The only thing that you could be happy about is that the chemistry seems to be developing between Cam Ward and Chimere DK. So, but other than that, there's not much to look forward to in Nashville. I'm sorry. You got to kind of take the positive with your young quarterback this year, but this game's going to be out of hand quickly, and I'm sorry for picking you for the second week in a row.
I mean, you could have picked the Saints and the Rams.
I could have, but I feel like I was going to do it. But I just think that the Chargers and the Titans, it's going to be worse because the Saints, like they still have some pieces. They have Kamara, they have Olave, they have Rashid Shaheed. They have people, and I know Shug, I think that's how you say it, is going to be
Tyler
the
Shug, yeah.
starter. So it could be rough, but I don't know. I just look at the talent, I guess, on both rosters and the way that the Saints have played. They've played hard in nearly every game that they've had. Not saying that the Titans haven't, but the Saints haven't been blown out to the degree, with the exception of against my Seahawks and also last week's game. They haven't been blown out to the degree that the Titans have.
No. My pick was Jaguars Raiders. We found out yesterday Travis Hunter's going on the IR because of a knee problem. The Raiders are terrible. They're starting Aiden O'Connell at offense this week.
Oh, man. Ooh, I did not see that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I believe he's starting this week.
Wow, they've decided.
That's what I've heard. I'm sorry. He's not playing this week. So he's
okay.
out for some. I'm sorry. So you're going to have either another week of Geno Smith or, God help you, Kenny Pickett.
Oh, man.
If he doesn't play well against this Jaguars defense, who we lauded a couple weeks ago as a game changer, but they've been struggling. The Jaguars have been struggling. Yeah. I just have to wonder with Travis Hunter being out, if they're going to be going back to the run, because they went away from the run. Shouldn't go away from the run. Never go away from the run if it works for you. But yeah, Travis Hunter's on IR, which means one of the most exciting players of the NFL, rookies, one of the best rookies, most exciting rookies in the NFL is not going to play this week. Raiders are the Raiders. But just keep Chris Myers, Mark Schlereth, and Christina Pink on your prayers, please, because nothing's wrong. They're just the broadcast team that has to broadcast this war crime of a game on Fox tomorrow. Ugh. And Kevin's saying, "Yeah, I'm with you. Who cares about the Jaguars Raiders game?" Well, here's the thing. It's in a 425 slot, along with the Rams and the Saints, and the 425 game, which is the Bills and the Chiefs.
That could be the saving grace. We're going to be seeing a lot of Bills Chiefs. We're going to be seeing a lot of Bills Chiefs on Red Zone.
This is why I hate when the NFL loads up on Sunday with 1 p.m. games.
Yep.
Because the 425, the 405 slot, they're usually pretty terrible, which makes us say, maybe this week, thank God for NFL Red Zone.
But are you saying, Ryan, with that Jags Raiders game that the only people that would be excited about it are ones down in...
Oh, I got it. Duval.
Sorry, I just had to. We hadn't used it in a few weeks. I had to find an excuse.
No, we haven't. We have not. Oh, man. Yeah, and again, Kevin's saying, I'm with you. Who cares about the Jaguars-Raiders game? Well, apparently Jaguars and Raiders fans do. But maybe even they don't care.
Yeah, I should check in with my uncle Matt. He's a Raiders fan. He probably would have some things to say.
Yeah, I don't think friend of the show Jeff Levac would care about this game
No,
either.
no, probably not.
Oh man, players to watch in Week 9, and I'm gonna get it started. And Dustin alluded to it in his most intriguing matchup, and Kevin put it in the chat: 2+ touchdowns. He said that it's his best bet. Although we're not degenerates around here, so we don't have a betting we don't have a betting partner. Although I hear Bet Friends is going to jump on board anytime now, but Bet Friends, if you know the bit, you know the bit. But I've got Jonathan Taylor as my player to watch in Week 9. The thing all right, I'm going to go on a mini rant about the MVP about MVP voting. Apparently, quarterbacks are the top 10 in MVPs for the MVP vote, for like the projected MVP voting, or for the for MVP odds. It's like, can we stop with the with constantly voting the quarterback as the MVP? I get it. The league has changed to where now the quarterback is the most important position on the field. I get it. But
Yeah.
if you're having a season like Jonathan Taylor has, or like Saquon Barkley had last year, and Derrick Henry had the year and last year as well, and with the running backs breaking the 2,000-yard mark, or finishing with record yards from scrimmage play, yet quarterbacks are the ones who always get the MVP. And I'm tired of it. I'm tired of that narrative. And with the season that Jonathan Taylor is having, he should be in MVP conversation. All right, should be. I say that, nobody will listen to me. But let's talk about Jonathan Taylor. Currently on pace to finish with 1,806 rushing yards, which would actually be 15 yards shy of the Colts record that he set in 2021 with 1,821. He's also on pace for 30 touchdowns. Again, which should get him consideration for MVP, but who wants to listen to this guy? He's facing the most expensive and also the most disappointing defense this season with the Pittsburgh Steelers, as you mentioned, Dustin, in your game to watch this week. They're surrendering an average of 113 yards. It's actually 112.7. I rounded it up because I like to do that. They're surrendering 113 yards rushing per game. Can Jonathan Taylor, if the Colts offensive line gets it going early, gets him some runs, pass protects on Daniel Jones, can he keep up that pace against the Steelers defense, which is, again, on paper, looks like it could beat anybody, but they're paper tigers, and the fact that they're not very good. So that's my player to watch. Jonathan Taylor, he's my player to watch in Week 9. Who's yours, Dustin?
All right, well, I got a couple this week. But the first one might surprise some people. And is it partially influenced by fantasy football? Perhaps. But I'm going to be looking at Travion Henderson, because Travion Henderson of the Patriots, the rookie, the one who looked electric in preseason, and everybody's going, oh, man, I can't wait to see what this kid does. They have not been using him, but the last couple of weeks they have started to, because they've had such woes at running back with fumbles, and Gibson, he lost the second string job because he fumbled so much. Mm-hmm. So I got my eye on them and him to see if his role continues to expand, because I think he could be fun to watch at the run game for this Patriots team. As much as I hate to admit it, they're good this year. They're good under first year head coach Mike Vrabel. He's brought them back. He's brought them back quicker than I think anybody would have anticipated. I still think Gerard Mayo got a raw deal in New England. I will always say that. But I want to see if Travion Henderson will take the lead role at running back against the Falcons defense that was destroyed by the Dolphins last week. That's what happened.
Yep.
And also on the other side of the sideline for this game, will the Falcons use Bijan more this week? And will he be able to run well after his absolute clunker last week, which both Ryan and I ripped he and the Falcons for? And then lastly, I just have to look at Jaden Daniels. He apparently will start in week 9 against my Seahawks, and I'll be very curious for multiple reasons to see how he looks. If he's fully healthy, Seahawks could be in trouble a little bit.
Yep. And Kevin with the homer alert saying, "Keep your eye on JSN." Yeah, he might cook Marshawn Lattimore.
Oh, I hope he does.
Eat his lunch for the entire week. Let's just put it that way.
I still got to catch up. The Kevin and Dan did an episode last night. I was not there because I had Halloween plans, but I got to catch up, see what they had to say about this.
All right. Well, got a couple more segments. We're gonna get out of here. Let's reveal our picks this week for the Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge.
Because I cut the brakes! Wild card, bitches! Yeah! What?
And our Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge is presented by Royal Retros, the king of throwbacks. Get 15% off your order with promo code CREDHEAD at checkout, plus get free shipping with every order of $100 or more. Here's Dustin's picks for this week. He's got the Patriots beating the Falcons. He's got the Lions beating the Bengals. And as his upset pick, he's got the Bengals beating the Bears. For me, I got the Colts beating the Steelers because that's my spike pick, because the Steelers dropped absolutely laid an egg last week against the Packers on national television. I got the Rams handling the Saints. And my upset pick for this week, Snowman, close your ears, I had the New York Giants beating the San Francisco 49ers at home.
Ooh, all right.
I think it'll be an inspired effort, at least as far as I'm concerned. It'll be an inspired effort, even without Malik Neighbors or Cam Scottaboo. May his ankle rest in peace. It turned out, his injury was, I don't say worse, but they found a lot more that happened with the dislocation. So, but hopefully he'll be back next year. We'll get the exciting whites back together again, as they're called, Jackson Dart and Cam Scottaboo. But those are our picks this week. Dustin is down only one after a perfect week last week, and get the bonus point for his upset pick coming through. But here's what we got for the Cut the Breaks Pick'em Challenge, presented by Royal Retros, king of throwbacks. Use promo code CREDHEAD at checkout for 15% off your order. Kevin's saying, Kevin's taking over now. Kevin's key. Seahawks need to keep Daniels from being Daniels. Okay, there you go. There's your key. All right, we're going to reveal our picks for the athletes, our favorite athletes to wear the number 79. And I'm going to have Dustin lead off and give us his favorite number 79. Not a whole lot out there, understand?
No, there wasn't a whole lot out there on 79. And as a result, my favorite number 79, and Kevin, as a baseball aficionado, you'll remember this man because he's still in the league, although last year's stats, it was a rough one. But I'm talking about his heyday. I'm talking about Jose Abreu, a slugger at first base. And he defected from Cuba. He played baseball in Cuba up until 2013, and then he defected. And then he signed with the Chicago White Sox. And I remember at the time, I'm like, the White Sox are in on Abreu? Like, because it was all the, it was just kind of, for me, I remember it being surprising that that's where he went. But it worked out well for him, especially his rookie year. He won Rookie of the Year. So he did very well. He was also the league MVP in 2020, and he's got the 3-time Silver Slugger Award, and he's also a 3-time All-Star. Now, he went to the Houston Astros later in his career, and his stats have steadily slid. He's kind of dealt with some injuries and things, but I believe he's got trying to remember how many career home runs he had. I had it, but I forgot to write it down. Career MLB home runs. I think it was somewhere in the 200s. I want to say 286 maybe home runs. But his career batting average is 283, which for somebody that has a reputation as a slugger, that's a pretty good career batting average, man. He can hit. And I liked watching him play and also having him on fantasy teams back when he was raking for the White Sox. So shout out to you, Jose Abreu, my favorite number 79.
All right. So he has his career stats 263 home runs.
Okay, 63. Yeah.
Almost got it. And a 283 batting average in the major leagues.
There we go. So that part I had right. That's what I was thinking.
All right, my number 79. I'm going hockey because starting in the 80s, we're pretty much going back to football. And I did the math. Dustin. We're gonna get to at least episode 94.
All right, so I can do it.
You do it. My favorite number 79. At first, I was like, all right, football, not a whole lot out there. Ray Childress, defensive tackle, defensive end for the Houston Oilers, legendarily so. Finished his career at the Dallas Cowboys, but I did not go with Ray Childress. I went with Alexei Yashin, center for the Ottawa Senators and New York Islanders, drafted first overall in 1992 by the Senators. He was actually the Senators' first draft choice.
Oh, wow.
Because they were the expansion team that season. Was best known in Ottawa, not so much for his scoring prowess, but for his contract disputes with holdouts on 2 separate occasions, and was suspended by the Senators in 1999-2000 for holding out after his best season in 1998-1999, where he almost scored 100 points for the Senators. He was eventually traded to the Islanders. Actually, with the Senators, he wore number 19, but he was traded to the New York Islanders in 2001 for the Islanders' first-round pick, which wound up being Jason Spezza. Not a bad career for him. Yeah. A little-known defenseman known as Zdeno Chara and Bill Muckalt. I don't know who he is. Probably wasn't relevant. Changed his number to 79 because the number 19 was already retired. It was retired for one legendary Islander, Brian Trottier. But he played for the Islanders from 2001 to 2004 and 2005 to 2007 because, as we all know, 2004-05 was a lockout season. But in 346 games for the Islanders, he scored 119 goals and 219 assists. So almost a point per game average as a member of the Islanders. After 2007, he went back to Russia. He spent the last 5 seasons of his career in the KHL with Yaroslav Lokomotiv, SKA St. Petersburg, and CSKA Moscow. His NHL career, 337 goals, 444 assists, and 850 career games. If we do the math correctly, that's just under a point per game average. Let me get my calculator out and find out how many points he had. 337 plus 444. So it's 781 points in 850 games. So he roughly averaged just under a point per game in his NHL career. But his most notable achievement was not on the ice. It was off the ice. He dated supermodel and actress Carol Alt.
All right, shout out to you, Alexei. But I had forgotten though when your genius headline when you put Alexei Cash in. I forgot that people called him that.
Yep. Back check, forecheck? No. I want paycheck.
Oh man.
All right. In the comments section, James the Homer alert saying Todd Harriman's played everywhere but center on Andy Reid's O-line, even caught a touchdown pass in 2008, all out of Saginaw State. Also says Alexei Yashin is a great shout. Yeah, I know. That's just me. That's where my mind went. All right, Dustin. Before we get out of here, gonna have you do a very quick appeal about ExtraLife.
All right, so we are 1 week away. 1 week away. What am I doing a week from now, you ask? Well, if you go to extra-life.org and search my name, Dustin Henry, you will find out that I am raising money in affiliation with the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. For ExtraLife, I will be attempting to play video games for 24 straight hours. Although, as I said at the top of the show, last year I was under the weather during ExtraLife. Hopefully I won't be this year, but I'm feeling a little less than 100%. but I got a week to heal up and get out there. So I will be going for as long as possible to raise money for the Bernard and Millie Duker Children's Hospital at Albany Med. And the great thing about the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals and the ExtraLife charity is 100% of the proceeds that we raise goes to the hospitals and the sick children and families who need it. Some charities take a percentage. The Children's Miracle Network and ExtraLife is not one of those. Your donation, if you have the means to donate, I know times are tough out there. If you have the means to donate, you will be able to donate by on my Twitch stream. There is a Facebook fundraiser set up, which I will be putting out some messages now that we're a week away. I'll be putting out some messages to remind people. If you follow me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, I will be tweeting about it. I will be putting things out on socials as we are a week away. I am starting at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Games on the list so far include Mario Kart World, Fall Guys, Borderlands 3, Helldivers 2. It's going to be a mix of PlayStation 5 and Nintendo. Those are the platforms that I play on. Stop by if you can. Twitch.tv/eldusto67. Raise money if you can. If you can't, or donate rather if you can. If you can't, get the word out. Tell your friends, share it, and I hope to see you at some point next Saturday.
Yep. So as a result, Dustin won't be on this program next Saturday. So I'll bring in a special guest. I've got one penciled in, but I'll double check with him to make sure that he remembered that he's going to be on this program this week. Otherwise, I'm either have to scramble for a guest or rock this program solo and get Dustin's favorite number 81 before the show, because coming up next episode is episode 80. It's going to be a showdown as to who the number 80 is. Although I think we're both like-minded and we're probably going to have the same. Yeah. Probably going to have the same person, which again, it's a rare thing to have the same person as your favorite athletes to wear a certain number. We've had it three times in this program so far.
Yeah, I think twice that I can think of.
Michael Jordan.
Yep.
Michael Jordan.
And then
I think Barry Sanders.
Well, Barry Sanders, he was going to be the third, but for the sake of the content, I picked Jorge for that one.
That's okay. That's okay. All right, we're going to get out of here and enjoy the rest of our Saturday. So before we do that, just got to remind you about our socials, which are here: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Just search for No Credentials Required. You can also find our other content on bellyupsports.com. On the podcast side, subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Spreaker, Amazon Music, iHeart, TuneIn, Pandora, and our host, which is Podbean. And hit that notification bell while you're at it on Twitter and on YouTube, so you know when our shows go live, when we have shorts that go up, when we have clips that go up, and when we have general show announcements. So that's going to do it for another episode of No Credentials Required, where you don't need a press pass to talk sports. We are proudly presented by Belly Up Sports. For Dustin Henry, I'm Ryan McCarthy. We'll be back Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern to review Week 9 of the NFL. I'm going to enjoy a nice stress-free Sunday for a change.
Mm-hmm. And bye week is a good thing sometimes.
Yes, I love myself some bye week, but we'll be back 6:30. Well, regardless of whether or not your team is playing on Sunday, join us Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern as we review Week 9 of the NFL. Till then, have a great weekend. Be safe. Enjoy some of your kids' candy or some of your leftover candy if you have it, and watch some great football. We'll see you on Tuesday.
Good morning, everybody.